to the next slide here. Okay, so this is a line I drew where you could just see the ball placement there. Definitely far back, probably too far back. You'd probably want like 1 more inch, like more towards the center of your stance. And once you start fixing your swing, which we're going to talk more about what you're going to do to fix the swing, you're not going to have to do that anymore. You'll be able to have the ball a little bit more center. So let's go to the next slide here. Okay, so this is you at the 1/4 position. They call this 9 o'clock. Actually, this wouldn't be 1/4. This might be maybe 2/5 or something. They call this the 9 o'clock position. Notice your left arm. When I say 9 o'clock, I'm talking about like if there was a clock circle around your whole body there, and that left arm would be pointing, at like a 90-degree angle flat towards 9 o'clock. And what I want you to notice here is when you take the club back, look at your head position. Your head's actually moving towards the target as you take the club away. That's going to cause you a ton of problems. So this was one of the main ones that I wanted to show you. And what you actually want is that head to be behind the ball, where you're loading up your power on your right hand side, rather than as you take the club away, the head going towards the target, because that's going to kill your power. I'll show you what I mean here on the next slide. So this is the same slide. It's a little hard to see here, but the orange lines is where your head is now, okay? And the green lines is more of where you want your head to be. And you could actually be maybe even a little further to on our screen, the left. But you definitely, your head is going, as you take the club away, your head is going towards the target. You want your club moving, you want your head moving away from the target as you take the ball away. You want to be loading up on the right-hand side. They call this a weight shift. And you want to be moving to your right. I always feel like my upper body moves about like 3 to 5 inches right as I take the club back. I'm loading to the right side and I'm moving backwards, okay? I brought up some pros, 2 guys who have really good golf swings, Adam Scott and Rickie Fowler. And I want you to look at what they do compared to what you do. So let's go to Adam Scott. Now this is Adam Scott as he's a little past 9 o'clock, but you can see where his head is. His head's behind the ball. And if we go to the next slide, I've kind of drawn that out, where you can see that he's moved backwards. So let's go back to you where you're at. Your head is in front of the ball, going towards the target. Adam has moved back and his head is behind the ball, okay? Another guy that I wanted to show you here, Rickie Fowler. Now this really shocked me. I was looking for an image just like this, and I didn't realize he loads. Oh man, he probably doesn't load this much with irons. So this is a driver, right? But look at how far behind the ball he is. I mean, he's almost like a foot. His head is almost a foot behind the ball when he's at the top of his backswing. And you can see you here. Well, actually, that's you on the takedown. Let's go back to this one here. And this is you as you take the club back. I mean, you're almost a foot in front of the ball. I drew some green lines here. You're maybe 8 inches. Your head's 8 inches from where it should be. So this is going to, when you make this change, this is going to feel really funny, and it's going to take some getting used to. But we want you to have more of a weight shift in your golf swing. I want you to load to your right and get your head moving to the right. And then as you take it down, the head moves over the ball, and then it moves to the finish position at the end. And I'll show this Rickie thing again here. So we have Rickie. Rickie's back behind the ball. Rickie then, as he moves in, here's Rickie at impact. Rickie's head's right over the ball. So his head has moved forward maybe 6 inches and a little bit down, and they call that crunching down. And then to the finished, his head is past the ball, and I kind of drew the ball where the ball was, you can see that his head is now a foot in front of the ball at the finish. So with the weight shift, yeah, I mean, for Ricky, if we go back to this slide where his head is, and then here, and then here, I mean, we're talking about maybe a foot and a half of weight shift. And that's something that your golf swing is really lacking. Once you get this down, your power, you're going to gain 30 yards with your driver, maybe 25. You're getting no power with your upper body. You're getting no weight shift. In fact, you're the other way. They call it a reverse pivot. You're going the opposite way that you should be. So if we go back to this slide here, we see how at the top of the swing your head is quite a bit in front of the ball. And then we see here, this is where your head is, where your head should be. Now let's watch you as you come down. Your head is starting to move back towards the ball. So right now your head is moving backwards and the club is moving forwards. And they call that a reverse pivot. And then you can see where your head is moving back a little bit towards the ball. It's still in front of the ball. And then at impact, this is actually a great impact position. This looks like a scratch golfer. The problem is, because your head was in front of the ball before here, that head is moving backwards now, and half your body's moving backwards and half your body's moving forwards, so you're therefore losing power, and they call that a reverse pivot, okay? And then, as you finish the swing, well, these are some lines that show you, where your head was, and now that's where your head is, to show you how it's going back. You can see there that you're a little bit behind the ball, which that's actually a good position to be in. But at the finish, you want to be through here and get that head through, and you kind of sit back a little bit even after the finish. So yeah, this reverse pivot thing is really causing you problems. It's killing your power. And so what you want to do is, once again, is when you take the club back, load like Ricky does, get over on that right knee. You want to feel like most of your upper body weight is over on the right-hand side where you're almost falling right and you're loading. And then as you power through, the head moves over the ball and then the head moves in front of the ball. And they call this a weight shift. So that's one of the main things I want you to try to work on is the load to the right, swing through, and falling over to your left. That's going to get everything going towards the target. It's going to add 5 to 10 miles per hour club head speed, and you'll be hitting the ball a lot farther, man. Okay, so let's go to the driver here. This is behind view of the driver. This looks great. I mean, the first parts of your swing look like a scratch player. That right foot is falling back a little bit, but a lot of pros do that. Your knees are pointed pretty straight. So if that feels comfortable right there, I mean, you can leave that foot position where it was. Maybe if you can move that right foot up like a half inch or something, maybe it would help a little bit. But I don't know, man. Like, this looks pretty good. You can definitely see, though, you still are doing that hovering thing a little bit. I don't know if you can see that on there, but you've conquered a lot of that hovering thing, but you still are hovering a little bit too much, I think. I'd move that hover down about a half inch, just get it a little bit more behind the ball. But all in all, I mean, this is a great position. This is a great start. So your start's perfect, okay? Now let's get to the 1/4 spot. This is fine. This right here looks like a tour professional. I swear to God. That club face where those hands are, your hands are in front of the body. I mean, this is why I was saying that you look like Dustin Johnson on the takeaway, because DJ has a very similar look here. Now, I pulled up some Adam Scott stuff, and Adam Scott behind. Let's look at where he is right there. Pretty close, man. Pretty close. I mean, maybe Adam's club is a little bit more in front of him. But if you look at you right here and you look at Adam, I mean, those are pretty close. Here's you again. Here's Adam Scott. and that's pretty close. So I wouldn't even mess with it. You're fine. Where you are there is pretty good. Now let's go to the next spot. This is good. This is totally fine to be in this position. Um, if you look right here, I've drawn some lines of your spine angle. The butt of the club's pointing right at the ball. That's what you want. Uh, Everything here looks fine. So I wouldn't change a thing here. You look at Adam Scott, pretty close to the same position you're in. We'll look at you again. Now let's look at Adam. Adam might be a little bit more hunched over the ball. You're starting to kind of stand up a little bit, but all in all, I think you're in a pretty good position there, and you're pretty close to Adam. Now let's go to your next position. Now for you,